sithola abafana babesuthi abaphase ngemadoda score kodwa uma kiwa efundweni asibone next, which proved ukuthi the education in South Africa how poor it was
compared to
yaseLesotho. Umfather Fetlat ethi ngibambisa itrunk iphakamisa, it was so light. Uyabuza ukuthi what's in there? Ngithi hayi sesiyonphana. Siyakompete nabo manje.
Separating the men from the boys.
Yes.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Linzito, the number one motivator south side of the equator. Welcome to another episode of the Linzito podcast with myself as well as Akani aka Matebula. So today we're speaking to a gentleman who has a wealth of knowledge, uMkhulu Khumalo. And this is what we meant when we said this is the people's podcast. If you look at the Europeans, from the first European who set foot in Africa, which coincidentally is not 1652, it was not Jan van Riebeeck, it was I think, speaking under correction, I think it was 1488, Bartholomeus Diaz and Vasco da Gama, they came in the 1400s. But the crux of the matter is, if you look at from then, Europeans literally have a documented history of themselves from the first time that they landed in Africa. Yeah. But then when you look at us as Africans, there's a lot of gaps in between our history. There's gaps to the extent where we don't even know who we are. And I think and I feel when I had this discussion with Akani, I said, you know what? Let us document our own history. Let us document our stories. I mean, we have smartphones, we're not using them. We should be recording this information because people are growing old and people are passing away, and they're passing away with a lot of knowledge. So I think this is one of those episodes where we go back to our elders and we literally sponge that information so that we can know who we are and we can share with the next coming generation who we are. And it's easier for us then to document and have these things and know that our history will never die. So today is one of those episodes. Sorry for interjecting you without even giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself, Akani.
No, it's understandable given how passionate you are about the subject, and I also share that same passion. In fact, in my family, I'm known as the family historian, but not because I know a lot of history, but because I take pictures of everything. So every event that has ever been, all of the people, that sort of thing, because every now and then you want to look back and say, oh, this is where we came from, this is where we used to live, this is what it looked like, this was the first car that so-and-so bought, this was when they graduated, this was when such and such a thing happened. So I as much as I believe it's an important thing for my own family, I believe also as a people, we also need to have the same way of documenting things to be able to remember where we've come from so that we can chart a path for where we're going. So we can even repeat things that we did well in the past and avoid the things that we didn't do so well, you know. So there's a lot of cases in history that a lot of people, they draw inspiration from the people who came before them and say, but no, my bloodline says that I'm a warrior, I'm a this, I'm a that, so therefore I can face such and such a challenge. Whereas if you were told lies about your past and you were told that you guys were cowards or you were weak or whatever funny stories that we're told about ourselves, if we believe them long enough, we start acting like those things.
Start believing.
So yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to today and what we are going to learn.
Yeah, so we all know the aims of the podcast is to educate, is to inform, and to inspire. And trust me, time flies because when we're telling our own raw, genuine stories, literally time runs out. So I think without wasting any further time, let's introduce uMkhulu Khumalo so that he can introduce himself in the way that he best knows and he best feels that we need to know who we are. uMkhulu, welcome to the show.
Ngiyabonga. I thank you.
uMkhulu, so tell us, where did it begin from uMkhulu before even Soweto? I know you were one of the very first people one of the very first inhabitants of Soweto, but Soweto was not there. There was a before Soweto, and then there was Soweto. Please take us through your journey from birth and just touch a bit on your childhood growing up, uMkhulu.
Do I have to speak in English?
Whichever you feel comfortable with, uMkhulu. We have English viewers and listeners. We also have Zulu speaking listeners. We literally have people in America as well listening. So whichever you feel comfortable with, you can mix them as well.
Okay. Mina ngazalelwa eMkhambathini. KZN. Kunendawo lapho ekuthiwa kusemkhambathini. Lelo gama liqhamuka entabeni ekuthiwa uMkhambathi. Uma ule eKZN uya ngaseThekwini from Pietermaritzburg right down to Durban. Even when you talk about Table Mountain, they know only one Table Mountain. They'll never think of Table Mountain as a Cape Town. They'll think of Table Mountain lentaba ekuthiwa uMkhambathi, because phezulu it is flat.
Yes.
Kwakuthi uma kuliwa obonayo ukuthi nayi impi yahlasela izohlasela la embungweni, amemeze athi ihlasele, and then kwakuthathwa amakhosikazi nezingane, inkomo, imfuyo, iswe kuleyo ntaba ekuthiwa kusemkhambathini, ikhwezwe phezulu iyohlala lapho, amabutho alwe nalempi ehlasele. Bayothi uma sebeyinqobile leyo mpi leyo, kube makwehla amakhosikazi nezingane nemfuyo from that mountain ekuthiwa uMkhambathi, bese ke phansi la bazobuya baphile impilo abayijwayele. Ngazalela endaweni enjengaleyo ke mina. Ngizalwa isithole sakoMahlobo, odlukuladledle, uMpangazitho, uTata Plumers ngamaphili. Uma wami igama lakhe uNonjabulo. Wayethi uma efunga athi wentombi kaManjanja. Athi wentombi kaManjanja. uManjanja iqhawe elikhulu elaziwayo kaNtombela, elafela empini yaseNcome. Nakhona alibulawanga izitha, izandla zase zivuvukele, beloku belwe njalo nezitha zabo. Wayesetshela insizwa ayenazo wathi, ngibulaleni bafowethu, angifuni ukubulawa izitha mina. Zigiye ngami zithi sabulala uManjanja, cha, nina bafowethu ngibulaleni, izitha zifike vele sengifile, ngoba vele sengikhathele manje. Nangempela bambulala laba ababengakuye, belwa naye nezitha. uManjanja iqhawe elikhuluke la kaNtombela. Uma wami wayefunga uManjanja, athi wentombi kaManjanja. Yena ke wagana kaKhumalo, egana insizwa okuthiwa uThemba Cecil Khumalo. Uma kufanele ukuthi wazishaza phelela uSisili inkomo kaNtombela, uma sekufanele ukuthi kucacwe kwaba khona ingxabano phakathi kukaMama noBaba, umama kabe sathanda ukuthi aqhubeke endele kaKhumalo ngenxa yengxabano yabo angisazi sizathu ukuthi kwakwenze njani ubaba omkhulu uThemba wayezalwa uJosi ubaba omkhulu uJosi walwa nendodana yakhe uThemba ethethisa njalo wathamba yolungisa izinto kaNtombela senginomzulu lapha kaNtombela ugama lakhe lingubhekane ngimfuna la angifuni umntanami mina akhulele kaNtombela ngikhona ngidla amabele uma wena uhluleka mina ngizozikhulisela yena kwatholakala ukuthi ke nesintombela asizange siyithandisise leyo nto ukuthi intombi yabo iqhubeke iyoganela kaKhumalo ngenxa yephuthela lenziwe ubaba ngakhulela ke kaNtombela ke mina lapho eMkhambathini konke ukulusa ukusenga uqhathwa yonke into ngiyifunde kaNtombela mina lapha ya eMkhambathini ukusuka kwami ngaphambi kokuba ngikhulume ngokusuka kwami ubaba elokhu engifune njalo ngasuswa kaNtombela ngayohlala kaMajozi ngibalikiselwa ukuthi ubaba angangebi lapha kaNtombela ngiye kaKhumalo ngayohlala kaMajozi kudadewabo kaMama omdala okwakuthiwa uNomasithela waziwa nje ukuthi usitha lapha ekukhuleni kwami ke nganginokugula lokhu ukuthi umuntu aphaphame ebusuku aphume ahambe engaziboni sleepwalking nganginaloko ukugula ke bakhathazeka bakaMajozi uma kuthiwa ukuthi ngiyagula ngisithohlokwana ngimncane bathi hayi lengane izozilahleke kungcono isuswe la ngasuswa kaMajozi ngaya oDidini ngayohlala khona oDidini ngaphambi kwaseMbumbulo ngahlala kaAntu Nomali owayendele kaNdelu ngahlala khona kwatholakala ukuthi ubaba usezwile ukuthi ngisodidini ngasuswa oDidini ngabuya ngeza eThekwini
yalandela
ngahlala eMayville isikole ngasiqala khona oDidini ngabuya ke ngeze eMayville ngafunda esikoleni kwakuthiwa iKemaraya Catholic School khona lapha eMayville isikole esidala samaRoma leso ngafunda khona kwatholakala ukuthi ubaba usezwile ukuthi ngiseMayville ufuna ithuba lokuthi angithole khona ngasuswa eMayville umama wasuka nami nodadewethu ongilamayo emhlane uThembekile seza naye indodakazi kababa uzalwa uThemba naye seza la eGoli safikela kaMamkhulu uAida
which year was it mkhulu man fike eGoli
1952
1952
uma sifika la eGoli
mayiqali apartheid
safikela kaAnti Aida uNonozi sahlala khona ngaqhubeka ke mina ngemfundo ngayofunda esikoleni esasisephumulungu sekhona namanje ngalezo insuku kwakuyi Blessed Martin Catholic School namhlanje sekuyi Saint Martin Catholic School ya khona lapha ePhumulong eGoli ngahlala khona ke kwakusebusika uma sifika hayi angizange ngiyithande indawo ngafuna ukubuyela emuva eMkhambathini lapho kwakuluswa khona ngingana ngazi ukuthi ngisuswa la ngiswele nje kwenzenja ya mina ngifuna ukubuyela eMkhambathini lapho ngangikleza khona ya kwatholakala ukuthi ngingane esokushiwe abantu abadala ukuthi awuyi lapho uzohlala la nangempela ngahlala khona ke ngaqala ngadlala ibhola khona ngafunda ngadlala ibhola neboxing ngiyenze khona ngifunde khona iboxing la eBlessed Martin engifunde nabo uAnthony Morodi the Blue Jaguar waziwa ngokuthi Blue Jaguar
they got to be ngebhola noma ngeboxing
he eventually became a champion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And uMkhulu, another question I'd like to ask. We are talking now 1952.
Yeah.
Had the forceful evictions, as I say, Sophia Town, had it happened already? Or
Not
when
yet.
the people came, did you witness Soweto growing? In fact, when you arrived in Soweto, which areas how big was Soweto?
Soweto was Orlando East, Orlando West, Phefeni,
Nomzimhlophe,
ezindlovini, imzimhlophe ezindlovini, yayikhona, ezindlovini. Ilokish laliphelela ePhefeni
station.
Idube yakhiwa sesikhona lapha yana.
Okay.
Kususa abantu ababeyiqumama base township namaphoyisa namasoja ngaleso sikhathi bazokwakha edube.
Well, a township is Alexander. For people like Lindsay who don't know.
Kusukela edube ukuyale kwangekho zindlu lapho. Kwakukhona nje iPhumulong. The Phefeni. And then kwangekho zindlu kuyisiganga ukuyale. Uyozuhlangane nezindlu iWhite City Jabavu. Ngale ke White City Jabavu kunemuroka. Njoba kunemuro la kwakhiwe khona
Police station.
Yini na? Anyway,
Richard Mundi not or le park yakhona.
Le ndawo leyana yemzimhlophe. Yeah. iRock la kwakhiwe khona iRockville.
Yes.
Kwakuyimuroka Jabavu ngale ke White City Jabavu kwakuyimuroka Jabavu leyo yabo. Yeah.
uMkhulu, kuna story where it was said that the houses as asemzimhlophe and the houses as a White City, which are similar, were not built for black people, but was actually built for the soldiers to control the black people and keep them in check. How true is that?
Very true. Very true. And uyabona ukuthi zakhiwa kanjani lezi zinto lezi. Uyabona how many families in one unit, uyabona? Yeah. Ngifunda ke mina lapha eBlessed Martin kwakhiwa iKhilani yiyo le esarounde ilokhuza. iBlessed Martin.
Yes.
Abanye bathi Elizabethville. Yakhiwa yaphela ikhilani kwakhiwa angithi kwakusendlovini bese kwaba nemzimhlophe kwakhiwa ikhilani
lapho kune Albertina Sisulu Center.
Exactly. Uyabona ke uMkhulu lo esafikela kuye eOrlando East a two-roomed house, double two-roomed house. Wayesebenza nomama uAlbertina Sisulu.
Okay.
Yeah. Unes Aida babe nesa bonke lapha yana kule clinic leya. Benesa bonke babesebenza bonke lapho. Yeah. Kwase kwakhiwa ke iMeadowlands. Isuswa eSophia Town. Uyabona? Yeah. Yafika ke iMeadowlands lapho nobuMeadowlands bayo. Well, we had no problem with that kodwa nje babesihlupha abafana baseMeadowlands.
But send of fire.
Yeah, babehlupha besibiza amakhalakuni and babuye bazohlupha amantombazane asesikoleni. We had a priest thina, uFather Verstraat from Belgium who did judo.
Okay.
Hey wayebashaya labafana. Ubona ummese undiza uyale umuntu ayinga. Yeah. Ebashaya kwaba ne gangster lapha ePhumulungu iboss yakhona kwakulamba uma beza ukuthi siyakhala amantombazana lapha ePhumulungu nawasephefeni nawasemzimhlophe ababefunda lapha ahlushwa yilabafana beseMeadowlands beza labafana lapha yeah gangster yobulamba kwaba yona ke elwa nabo ke iboss yale genge le yaseMeadowlands kwakuwizard ishuqula athi umeqhamuka athi ke so wizard kufanele nikhona matsitsi kunomgwaqo leMeadowlands ekuthiwa ematsitsi kodwa uma qhamuka olamba ngendlela ayebaleka ngakhona kuyena iboss yakhona kodwa ebaleka asibuyeleke eOrlando uma sifike eOrlando kwakunobaba lapha ubaba uJames Sofa sonke Mpanza okuyena njoba kuthiwa eOrlando Pirates ezingamagebhulu wagebhula umhlabathi kaMasipala kwakuthiwa umagebhula ubaba uMpanza uyena owafika nabantu wathi yakhane la ngenkani
so nalesistrata lesibizwa Sofa sonke siwe ngaye
exactly
okay
exactly yabona yeah ngiye ngiphatheke kabi uma kuthiwa ihistory of Soweto kube sengathi into eqale ngo1976
yes
at one time ngilapha yana Hector Peterson ngabuza udadewabo kaHector ngathi la nibhala ukuthi history of Soweto but I don't see ubaba uMpanza umsunguli weSoweto nehashi lakhe ngoba wayegibela ihashi ubaba uMpanza yeah I don't see him anywhere here angikhulumi lutho ngobaba uMpanza why you are distorting the history of Soweto as long as there's no Mpanza here
there's no history
there can be no history
there can be no history
yeah because if I remember uMkhulu will correct me as well is that the government at the time was battling with giving housing to the people and then Mpanza took his people and he just identified land and he said Akani so
yeah
that's where the sheikhs came and from there came the Orlando
yeah
and the first soccer team was his which is now today Orlando Pirates that's why they say it's the oldest the oldest soccer club it's because it was formed back then it had just changed names
exactly and indodana kaBaba uMpanza uBhongwane was a referee so umudlala nePirates you'd never win
speaking on sports you had mentioned somebody that benfunda naye Blue Jaguar I got the sense that mhlambe bakhona abanye also who came out of that school and so on who became big things mhlambe ungasichazela nangabo
okay ushone uBishop Patrick Zithulele Mvemve ushone 2 years back. He was my classmate.
Okay.
Nayu Blue Jagger was my classmate.
Yes.
Yeah, lapho kuleso sikole kuleyo primary school le. Yeah. Enye insizwa King Kaizer Mtaung, yes. Shintsha Kuluva. Ngiyamazi, he does not know me. He cannot know me now. Yes. He knew me then. Yeah. Uma efika walethwa uWilliam King Kaizer Mkhwanazi.
Okay.
William King Kaizer Mkhwanazi befunda eOrlando High. Wamletha kuOrlando City Ramblers. Wadlala ku-C division. Mina no King Kaizer Mkhwanazi sidlala ku-First division. No Mebra unduna kaNdaba. Yabona? Sidlala ku-First division eOrlando City Ramblers. Yabona? Wadlala uKing Kaizer Mkhwanazi. Sasigqoka igold and black.
Okay.
That is where Kaizer Chiefs or Kaizer Mtaung got
inspiration.
Yeah, yokuthi iclub yakhe igqoke kanje. Yeah.
Black and gold. Okay.
Yeah, ngoba naye wayegqoka eku-City Ramblers ku-C division.
Okay.
Abantu abaningi abayazi leyo history ukuthi wadlula ku-Orlando City Ramblers before eya ku-Orlando Pirates. Yeah. Naye uKing Kaizer Mkhwanazi wathathwa ngenkani yiqhwaka zePirates ukuthi ayodlala ku-Orlando Pirates. Wayehambe ne-big team beye eNorthern Africa beyodlala khona. Uma befika le abantu balapho i-big team yala ithi bedlala le abantu after the game they carried Mkhwanazi on their shoulders, but at long last we have the Johnny Haynes of Africa. Yeah. Besho uKing Kaizer William King Kaizer Mkhwanazi. Yeah. Besho bemthwele emahlombe, but we have a Johnny Haynes of Africa. Because labo bantu base Northern Africa they just crossed the sea. Bayobuka ibhola eEngland. Yeah. Yabona ngibamba lapha ngibambe lapha.
I know it's fine. So be comfortable. Because isn't as ning osikhulumayo. We don't know, and there are people, as you were saying, Hector Peterson Museum, there are people who portray to know the history, but nabo, they know a distorted history. And that's why we said in the beginning, it's very important that we get the real stories, because if we don't, we'll be fed lies. And that's why even most of our discussions that we have, we ask a lot of questions, but for us, I think, and I can see from Makani's side as well, it's a learning experience, and we can see the passion coming through. So hence we are allowing you to roll. So don't feel that it needs to be structured. It's unscripted. We didn't brief you. You just speaking as is, and you are talking freely about the history as you know it.
Yes.
So in terms of soccer, it looks to me like soccer was a very big part of the history of Soweto. Yes. So do you know anything about the history of Amanyama Club, maybe the Dube Birds, Muroka Swallows, or any of the other teams that used to exist? Because that don't exist. Because I know my granny always used to talk about who's Begune pubs, Begunani, back in those days, which we don't have today.
Yeah.
So
okay, asiqale ngeSwallows. iSwallows yayingixabanisa noBhamuza. Uskara yeah, Skara sona ubaba kaJomo. Wayithi uma ngibona njalo on a Saturday ngehla ngiyodlula lapha kubo. Ngimfice ebhona icathulo esibeka from ekhoneni lendlu yakubo siyakanye ziyele. Athi uBhamuza sithi vantu kanje nje Vietmos. Athi je samogo Man City ma. Ngithi hukom aje playing Orlando maar je favor Muroka Swallows hukom. Ngimtshele ngithi ayabona Bhamuza. iSwallows idlala ibhola engilithandayo. Khona manje usanda kusho kumina uthi City. Why? Because ebholeni ngangizama uku-emulator u-city council difference mbanya. So uma bengibona lapha e-primary school ngidlala ibhola ngenza lezi zinto zika Bradif zika difference mbanya, uNorman wathi yeah man usithatha up lezi zinto zika city wena. Ngathi hayi angithi mina ngiyalihamba ibhola ngiyombuka. Wathi nami ngiyalihamba ibhola. Wathi ngiyabona maswenza izinto. So that's where I got the name City from. That ngisese primary school. Yeah, ngiyale eBesuthuland nje ngiyahanjiswa uFather Verstraat. Kunenkinga ngiqeda ukuphasa siphase we were 13 first class passers. Ngalezo insuku uphasa standard 6. Ngathi umubhali examination ka standard 6 amaphepha khona ayemarkwa ePretoria. It was an external
national certificate.
Yeah, exactly. I still have it somewhere in the house.
Maybe it's running on EJC, or was that something else?
JC.
EJC.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate what JC is actually?
Junior certificate.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Showing my age.
So okay, before we figure junior standard 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kwakuba external. So siphase saba u13 ngathi ama standard 6 that year, yabo. Yeah. Ufather Verstraat uyangibuza. Uthi tell me, because why yazi background yami ukuthi I was from a very very poor family. Awusho ndoda. Njengoba uphase kahle kangaka nje uyapi? Ngathi ngihlala eOrlando, ngiye-Orlando High. What, Orlando High? Ngathi yebo. Ngaleso sikhathi ke kwasengene iBantu education. What, can't you go anywhere else? Ngathi ngayapi? Wathula. A week later he came back. What, wouldn't you like to go to Lesotho? Ngathi I hardly know where Lesotho is. And umama wami angahlanya. Uma ngizoya endaweni yena angayazi.
After wonke lokuhamba lokho bekwenza.
Yeah. And nakhona sesifikile eOrlando.
Yes.
Mina ngeke ngahlala eMasakeni. Yeah. eMasakeni, yabona. Yeah. Ngilala eboxini lamalahle lapha eMasakeni. Yeah, yabona akhona ke. Anyway, yangenza lo muntu leyo mpilo lo yangenza lo muntu engiwuye. Because whenever a negative thing happened to me, ngiye ngisitshela ngithi not my children. My children will never experience this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So education seems to have been a very important thing, and ngathi nesonto was playing a big role,
A major role.
How exactly was that working? Was it the church themselves who took it upon themselves? We are going to be focused on education, or was it it just happened like that? The Catholic Church would just start ikolo or so on.
Ngikhumbule ngiqhamuka eMayville from eKemaraya Catholic School. Ngizala so kufuneka ngene esikoleni sama Catholic, and it's June. It's mid-year. Yabona?
So and a curriculum that is similar to what you had.
Exactly. So ngathola indawo, bangitholela indawo eBlessed Martin. Udade wethu waya eSt John's Batchman. Isekhona namanje. It's a Catholic school lapha eOrlando East. Sona sikole sama Roma in the whole of Orlando East. St John's Batchman. Isonto la khona kuthiwa iChrist the King.
Yes.
Isonto is very big. It would work because yayingekho le Blessed Martin on Wednesdays. Sasuka thina sasenza woodwork size la eSt John's Batchman sizoyenza khona. So uburoma lobu bukimi ngithande ukuba sesontweni la singacela kubazali bami ukuthi ngicela ukuthi ngisonte kuleli sonto laseMaromeni bangivumela ngasonta khona uma ngifika la ngangena ngafunda esikoleni samaRoma ngasonta khona ngahlangana no Father Verstraat he had a liking for abafana the youngsters. He always kept us busy. That's why wazi ne-history yami uyena oweza wazokhuluma nomama ukuthi no ucela ukuthi angiyise esikoleni samaRoma eBesuthuland. My mom could not understand that. Yeah.
And another question that is popping up for me, uMkhulu, as you are speaking, and also it goes back to Akani's question, where he was mentioning that how big a part of the community the church was, and with you saying now that you had asked for permission to go and attend this specific church.
Yeah.
What was the clash like between religion and culture? Because you come from Zulu land.
Yeah.
How do you intertwine these two? Because we are made to believe that they do not fit hand in glove. How did you go through that phase? And if you are still within it, how do you handle it?
Ngijoina isonto laseMaromeni, the Catholic Church, ngise Mayville eDurban.
Yes.
Mayville ilokishi lama Indians, uyabona lama Indians. Yeah, uyabona? Yeah, kakhulu. Siqashile kuqashiwe eMayville uMkhulu ukuthi ngihlale khona. Ngifunda lapha. So indaba yeculture ayikho lapho. Yeah. Kodwa uma kwenziwa izinto eMkhambathini siyasonke le eMkhambathini la kwenziwa, and we go through the same things as in people abahlala khona they went through. Yes. Yeah. So anzange ngiphume kuzona esontweni ngiba nama problems now late esontweni. Yeah. Babe ngangeni kakhulu entweni zeculture.
Okay.
Yeah. Kodwa ke there was a time lapho sasitshelwa khona ukuthi we are not supposed to attend ama-feasts esintu, yabona, eculture and all that, sitshelwa hayi esontweni othisha babesifundisa kuleso sikole saseMaromeni, to an extent that uma omamncane nomamkhulu benza imisebenzi mina ngangiye ngicela ukuthi ngicela ukuya kaMalumboy eRandfontein, yabo, so that ngizokuba khona la ngoba yeah, ngoba on Monday uthisha uzofuna ukwazi ukuthi benenzani over the weekend and so on, and uma ngizomention ukuthi kube kunje ekhaya manje uzothetha uthisha, not umfundisi, uthisha ongifundisa uzothetha bese ngathi mina engiyikhethela ukuba lapha kanti ngingane, yabo. So I would rather go to Randfontein, eFentas Post in fact, kaMalumboy, yabo. Ngiye khona, spend a weekend khona, ngiyobuya Sunday afternoon ngibuye ngize la ekhaya. Konke sekudlulile. So
ekhaya bagcine bavumile indaba yase Basuthuland.
Yeah, umama wagcina evumile kodwa izakhe ibhlungu. Mina ngazi ukuthi ngiyesikoleni.
Yeah.
And ufather uyasazi ukuthi entweni zasesontweni no Patrick Mvemve uzithulele sihamba phambili, sifika early, and before isikole siqala kwakuba neservice esontweni, siba khona thina, yabo, and we enjoyed that no Patrick, yabo. Yeah. So usithumela le nje ufather kanti it is a minor seminary.
Okay.
La ufundela khona abefundisi bama Roma ubufundisi.
So Sentole, you basically got a promotion.
To Bible college.
Yeah.
By the back door.
Yeah, you'll come to
the school in.
Yeah.
You'll come back as an instructor. You'll be teaching other pastors.
Yabona ke. Hayi. And lapho ke it was St. Teresa's minor seminary.
Which part of Lesotho land was that, uMkhulu?
Romeng, Roma Valley. Angithi ngathi education eLesotho igcwele lapha eRoma.
Namanje.
Yeah.
Even up to this
Yeah.
day,
Tiwa Roma Valley. Yabo. Yeah. University ilapho. I-major seminary St. Augustine ikhona. Uma uphuma la eSt. Teresa's uya e-major seminary St. Augustine. Yeah. Ilapho uyospenda khona something like 7 years. Yeah. A-major seminary. La siya preparewa nje na. Siyafundiswa ukuthi a major seminary. This is what you must expect. So,
And just, uMkhulu, if you can remember, which year was it when you arrived in Lesotho, more or less? Yeah, we know it won't be accurate, but if we can say, would it have been in the 60s already, or in the 70s?
In the 50s.
In the 50s still?
Yeah,
late 50s.
Late 50s, yeah, late 50s. Yeah. Nakhona lapho eSt. Teresa's Seminary, ay sasifunda kahle man. Sifunda kahle. And ukhumbule mina no Patrick Mvemve sithola ama first class la ku standard 6. Uma sifika le sithola abafana babeSuthu abaphase ngemadoda score, yabo. Yeah, abafana babeSuthu. Kodwa uma kiwa efundweni asibone next, which proved ukuthi the education in South Africa, how poor it was
compared to
yaseLesotho. YaseLesotho babefunda yona le. Yabo? Yeah. Ababethi obaba mabethi igalapa lezi. Hey kushe hey bathi igalapa lezi. Abantu bakabantu thina sifundi iRoyal Reader. Yeah, yabo? Besibrekela ngemfundo bona abayifundile. Hey, besidabula abafana bebeSuthu. Singaboni next. Siphase ngama first class, bona baphase ngoma third class. Kodwa asiboni next eclassini. And that used to kill us. Yeah. Thola ukuthi nangesikhathi kungafanele ukuthi ngabe se study hall siyafunda.
To try and bridge that gap.
Yes. And hey, laphayana hey, each and everything enyenzayo, homeworks, tests and so on, okwenzekayo on a daily basis. Labefundi sasifundiswa abefundisi bodwa.
Okay.
Yeah. Abefundisi bodwa, no brother kuphela lapha. Yeah. Angithi abafana bodwa. Yeah, abafundela ubufundisi.
Yeah.
Hey. Yonke into esifundiswayo naseklasini ubuphendula lo okufundisa leyo nto la ukufundisa uyabheka ukuthi ngalezi impendulo zakho ukuphi, yabo. Yeah. At the end of the month ubone wonke umuntu from form 1 to form 5 se notice board siyobheka ukuthi sebenze umsebenzi wakho for the month use notice board kubona wonke umuntu ukuthi usebenze kanjani.
Wenze kanjani?
Kutholakala ukuthi thina sino Patrick silapha ya ezansi, yabo. Yeah.
Coming from the top,
Soweto. Yeah. Ama homeboys eze asitshela dayi bafowethu, don't worry, nathi sifike kunje. Nathi safika kunje.
Stale khona.
And esibonile iLatin yakushaya sithi man. Yeah. Inkinga yakho yini? Kufanele ngisho ukuthi inkinga yami ilana. Ukhumbule masifika le there's no Africans. So kufanele ukuthi sifunde
language
Latin. Yeah.
Latin, yes.
There's no Zulu. Kufanele ukuthi ngifunde isiSuthu. Yeah, uyabona. So ama homeboys esiwafice lapha ayasiza.
Yeah. Already. Okay.
Yeah. They understood because they are from there nabo ngokwabo. basize ukuthi school hayi after about 5 months kwabonakala ukuthi hayi sesiyonphana siya compete nabo manje
Separating the men from the boys.
yes kwabonakala ukuthi hayi siyafunda, we started enjoying ukufunda. And into futhi esiphusha ukuthi lama marks esiwabona lapha enotice board ama results akhona enye bayithumela kumfundisi for the first strat, lo sithumele la, enye iya kumama ekhaya azi ukuthi indodana yakho iperforma kanje
Na progress.
yeah yo so kufuneka sisebenzile because ufather first strat yo siyothini ufather first strat really umama uzothi uyelini kude kanga uyela ukuyodlala yeah and ufather first strat was paying fees lapha sihlala khona. Hey, the day finally kuthathwe i-luggage yami in the morning, yes uzongilanda i-trunk ngiphiwe ubhutfeli angina trunk. Umfather first strat ethi ngibambisa i-trunk iphakamisa, it was so light. Uyabuza ukuthi what's in there? Ngithi izinto zami uyayivula uthi open it, ngiyayivula thola ukuthi nginebhruku elifishane likakhakhi nebhruku elifishane eli-black, school uniform i-shirt kakhakhi, i-shirt emhlophe, black and white, school uniform yase-Blessed Martin, yabona. No pyjamas, nothing. Father first strat, yeah, what okay sasuka lapha fanele ukuthi ngabe siyo luggage ekseni le e-Park Station saya Emery's Brothers ilapho ofather basemaromeni. He was an oblate,
yes,
yeah, of Mary Immaculate. Bona benza ama-vows of poverty in their life.
okay,
yeah.
What does that mean, uMkhulu? Because it's the first time I hear that, vows of poverty.
Yeah. Ebufundisini uthatha wenza ama-vows angithi noma ushada kunama-vows owenzayo uma ushada. You swear and ngempela uyabona, yeah, umfundisi akublesse for those vows and umfundisi will hold you up to until death do us part.
You don't accountable.
Yeah.
So in that case, when a person would join the whichever order of ubufundisi, if you take a vow of poverty, you are saying you will never own property. Yonke into eza kuwe uzoyidlulisela phambili.
Exactly.
That is how you're going to show your dedication to God and to the church. So it was different vows. Other people would vow different things, but the poverty one is exactly that.
And I know we are digressing a bit, but I'm sure there's people watching as well that are curious because I've never heard it. So now tell me, the poverty vow, is it a contract that expires, or you are now taking this vow forever? Because
for life.
Forever.
For life.
I know the poverty vow can miss me.
And funny enough, Father Verstraat was from a very rich family. The only son kubo. Banama business. So, unama shares laphan.
Okay.
Uma kudividwa ama profits.
Yes.
Bawathumela ama profits akhe.
Yes.
And then bagcine nje the mali azoyi reinvesta into the business. Yabona. Ezomenzela yabona. Yeah, ama profits again. Bayithumele yonke njengoba injalo. Thina ke sifunda ngaleyo mali leyo ka Father. And lapha iBlessed Martin kwakuyisikodlana esincane wasikhulisa saba sikhulu. Saze setla sayezansi wakha ama toilets amaningi. Wakha that big church. Yakhiwa uFather Verstraat those years in the 50s.
So if I can ask uMkhulu, Father Verstraat, is he still alive today?
No.
He passed on. And because I hear you talk a lot about him, you mention him a lot, obviously because he's part of your journey. But my question is then, did your relationship go further than just the schooling? Or did it stop there? Because it seems to me that you would have taken a lot of life's teachings from him.
It stopped when Father Verstraete was promoted ukuthi abe bishop.
Okay.
Yeah. So uma eba bishop is because there was a need for a bishop at Klerksdorp.
Okay. That's
So-
in the northwest now.
Yeah,
Yes.
after Potch.
Yes. So uma eya northwest eKlerksdorp manje konke okwase Soweto ukushiya nabaphethe eSoweto.
Laba pa promotwayo.
Yabo, yeah. So impilo yami yaqala yaba mnandi ngikhona le seminary. Ayaba mnandi kodwa fortunately I was good at playing football. So everybody abafana balapha babengithanda nasendaweni njena. Kwazi ukuthi kulesa sikole kunomfana ekuthiwa uCity Council. In so much that e-university yase Roma kwakunensizwe ezimbili ezazidlalela fighters yase Sofia or yase Township, I'm not sure. Kodwa bese university beza bazongicela ku Father Superior. Yeah. Lapha ngangifunda khona ukuthi bacela ukuthi bangisebenzise university yodlala bazongilanda ngiyodlalela i-university. Father Superior wayengithanda and eyithanda into engangiyenza esikoleni. Yeah, so wavuma. So ngadlalela i-university ngingakafiki e-university yabona. Yeah.
So, the process of being a Lesotho, how long were you bedside for?
5 years.
5 years.
5
Okay.
years kufuneka angithi kufanele ngimatriculate bese ngiyoqala the 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after matriculating. So 5 years. Yo. It was June. Ngibuye kwashona uFather Superior wethu.
Why didn't Africans go out and explore the world? We didn't have a need to.
Lokuthi umhlophe unamehlo ablue nenwele ezinde
Was Wits in defiance of the government when they accepted black students, or did they separate the black students in the class from the white students? Lived pre-apartheid, you've lived during apartheid, you are now living in democracy. How has things changed